Now I'm going to tie it my own twist on a good old-fashioned standard, the Pheasant tail Nymph. This is going to be a steelhead sized one. This is a size 10 Nymph hook. I got a brown brass bead on it. I'm going to add a little extra weight. You can go tungsten if you want. So I'm going to add a little lead-free wire. But what I'm going to do before I tie it on is I've taken my hemostats and I've come in and I've flattened out a section of it. So I'm going to start with that flattened section, lay that right on, and just wrap that one wrap in front of the other. This is going to help me build up a bit of a help me build a tapered body. And when I get close to the bead, I'm going to come in with the hemostats and give it one pinch. Flatten that section in front. And there we go. Come in with my clippers. Clip that wire off in the front. Clip it off in the back. And since I flattened that out in the front, I'm just going to make sure that the tag ends are pressed up against the hook. That'll slip right inside that bead when I slide it forward. You can see I got a bit of a butt here, so I'm going to come in with my scissor points and press that flat against the hook. I'll take care of that. Okay, and I got some brown thread. First thing I'm going to do whenever I add lead, first thing I do before I tie it down is I build up a dam of thread behind it so it doesn't slide on me. Then I'm going to start wrapping over the lead. Then once I get up in here where I didn't flatten it down, the thread will pop down in there against the hook shank, stretch out those wraps, and everything will be nice and tight. Okay, for the tail of this fly, it's a pheasant tail, so we're going to use pheasant tail. I'm going to pull off a nice chunk of pheasant tail fibers. I don't like my nymph tails to be too awful long, so probably about half to 2/3 the length of the hook shank. I'll lay that in right there. And wrap right back to over the barb of the hook. Then I got my nice little pheasant tail there. I'm going to come in, get them butts out. I'm going to take a second just to kind of smooth out the taper of the nymph there. Just kind of make a nice bug-like taper. Oops, I almost broke my thread. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rib this fly. Because it is a pheasant tail, I would prefer to use pheasant tail, but in most cases a pheasant tail fiber is just they're not long enough. So what I've started using in substitution is one long turkey tail fiber. This works out real good. So I'm going to use that as a rib. So I tie that in by the tip and then get rid of the excess. So now I got a real long turkey tail fiber to rib. Now the body of the fly, the abdomen of the fly, is going to be flash material. And I'm going to use Flashabou. This color is the one they call bronze. It's kind of a dark chocolatey brown. I'm going to tie in 4 or 5 fibers of that and tie it in right back to where the tail starts. Then when I go forward, I'm going to make sure that I got a nice smooth underbody. I'm going to go up to right about to where my lead turns into the whole into round there. Then I'm just going to take my Flashabou and I'm going to wrap that forward, overlapping about halfway each wrap, so you get a real nice smooth body. Real nice smooth shiny body. When I get up to where I want to stop, I'm actually going to go a little bit past. Make sure I got good coverage. And then tie off that Flashabou and get rid of the butts. We'll save that chunk of Flashabou for the next fly. Couple extra wraps on there, make sure I got it tightened down real good. Now before I wrap my rib, as you can see I got a nice shiny underbody there. I'm going to take a little clear Cure Goo Hydro in the brushable, and you just want a little bit of this. You want to take most of it off the brush. All this is going to do is protect that Flashabou and hold the rib in place once I get it tied down. So I'm just going to paint on just a very thin coating on top of that flash. Alright, and then I'm ready to rib, so I'm going to grab my turkey tail. I'm going to rib right over that Flashabou. Every time I make a wrap, you'll notice that the turkey tail if I can keep her going here, it's kind of smooth and slippery. That's why you want it to be nice and smooth. That turkey tail will stand up and give you a nice little raised rib, kind of like you get on like a biot for a dry fly or something. Alright, so once you get that tied down, you bring in your light, set that Cure Goo. Now your rib is locked in there, locked right into UV epoxy. Your Flashabou is basically totally safe from any kind of teeth. Makes your nymph nice and durable. Trim that turkey tail butt out of there. Now we're going to do our thorax and our back and legs and stuff. So we're going to go back. I'm going to pull off another good sized chunk of pheasant tail. So I got a chunk about like that. I'm going to tie this in tips forward out over the bead. I'm going to tie it in right behind the bead, put 2 or 3 wraps on it, and then just make sure it's centered on top of the fly. Then I'm going to wrap back over it, keeping it right on top, right back up to where my abdomen starts. And the other thing that Pheasant Tail Nymph has is it has a peacock thorax on it. So I'm going to come in with 3 or 4 strands of peacock curl. This happens to be peacock curl dyed green. We'll zap that in there. We'll wrap the peacock curl forward to complete my thorax. Right up behind the bead like so. Tie that off. Trim out those butts. Now I'm going to take these tips that I left, I'm going to split them in half into equal bunches. on either side. So now I've got them split. Got them split in half into equal bunches. I'm going to take the back of it, I'm going to pull it over to make a shell back. When I do that, I'm going to sweep those tip fibers back at an angle, and when I get them back to where they're going back, I'm going to lay a nice tight wrap of thread right over the top of them. And when I do that, it's going to lock them legs back, projecting back like legs on, or lock those tips back, projecting back like legs on either side. I'm going to put 3 or 4 nice tight wraps there. Come in and trim that butt section out of there. Throw a whip finish right on top. Alright, so now I've got my pheasant tail nymph, swept back legs on both sides. Real nice looking nymph. Now, normally what I'll do is I'll trim those legs. I'll just push them back. Then I I pull them back and I come in at an angle and I trim it at an angle just about the same length. About the same length as the length of the abdomen. There you have it. All finished. Last thing I'll do is you can come in on the thread wraps and the shell back, and you can either put more clear cure goo on there if you want it to have kind of like an epoxy back, or most of the time I'll just come in and hit it with a little flexible cement. And that'll soak right in there and lock all that in place. And there you have it. Real nice, real effective version of the pheasant tail that I used last year to great effect on a lot of different waters. And you can let your imagination go wild with this fly. You can change the colors of the flash, you can change the colors of the dyed pheasant tail, change the colors of the peacock, substitute, fluorescent dubbings, bead colors, whatever you want to tie anything. You tie this in all black with peacock, it makes a fantastic winter stone. And so tie some up and throw them in your box and give them a try. It's almost steelhead season.